Welcome everyone to Sea of Stars. I'm Julian Thomas, and this is a turn-based RPG developed by Sabotage Studios that channels a 16-bit classic style like Chrono Trigger, but it has dynamic movement. You can traverse your terrain in a variety of ways. You could swim, you can climb walls, you could repel and grapple, you can customize your characters with equipment, and you can even change their combat orders. There's also a dynamic to the combat actions that you can take in game, which are that you could block abilities, counter abilities, and have certain skill combos with your team. It follows two children of the solstice, Valere and Zale, who combine sun and moon magics to perform an eclipse magic, and in the only way to defeat a monstrous creation of an evil alchemist known as the Fleshmancer. Let's begin our adventure and show you what this game has to offer. We're going to continue on a story we've already created. And we'll take just a moment here so you can see some of the fun animations and some of the detail that Sabotage Games have included in a platformer like this. The characters are very diversified. You do have these equipments which you could equip certain items here. We have a cornucopia that we can equip, and it shows you your stats here, what will increase, what you could benefit from if you equipped an item. And we get an HP gain from this, which is health points. So we're going to go to skills here, and just to show and highlight some of the skills here of Sarai, we have Venom Fury, Disorientate, Phase Shiv, and an ultimate ability. With these abilities, they become accessible to certain characters and unlockable depending on the level of that character. There's also combos here, which you'll see as the Solstice Strike, X Strike, and Mending Light ability, which heals some of our characters. There's a cost associated with it in this turn-based style of the game. And there are items such as cooking, and with these hors d'oeuvres and certain ingredients that we find in game, we can make certain things like a berry jam to increase our benefit for our MP, which are the points we use for our skills or our health points in general, or to give us a status effect in game to give us an advantage. There are many key items in the game that you'll come across as well. There's recipes that we can unlock for additional things that we can create in game, like the mushroom scramble, for example, or the basic salad, which is even better. And we have some items that we could attain that we harvest and that we farm from in the game from certain locations. Things like fish, and we could even go fishing. There's a fishing pond in the game, so stay tuned if you'd like to do some fishing and see how that works. We have our weapons and our equipment skills, but we do have a mission, a journey ahead of us. Let's begin. We're going to rappel right across the bridge. We can do swimming in this game. We can climb mountains and traverse in very dynamic ways. We can even counter the abilities of the characters we're up against. This character is named 2, so they're trying to protect their identity. And these are characters that work for the Fleshmancer. So 2 says, however you did it, you are foolish for showing up here. And 4 says, foolish and cornered too. Sarai, our shinobi ninja, she says in reply, your friends already tried acting tough. Didn't you get their report? 2 replies, my, they truly are feisty. And 4 says, feisty and arrogant too. 2 says, come on then. And we have initiated our combat encounter, and we have some skills here. We're going to pick up some solstice energy from them for our magic, and we're just going to get off a normal attack here for now. We can choose who we want to attack with. We could choose to attack with Sarai or Valera, or even Zale if we wanted to in the beginning. We're going to pick up one of our skill combos here, and at the power there where it says 98, we have some abilities here. And we could buff these abilities. and we block partial of that damage with a good input and some timing, we also have a skill here we could boost. And that's what we're going to do with some of the magic from our basic attack, which was left over on the floor. This essence that we get from the ground. So we have a skill here, and we have Shiv or Venom Fury. We're going to go with Venom Fury because I think this is a fun technique. And this continues if we get good timing. And we got a good maximum input on that one. So we got a good continuation of our attack. Something incoming right now. We can block partial of it with good timing. And we have a combo that's available for us. We're going to go with a Solstice Strike here. We're really focusing one of the characters. We took some minimum damage there. I've been really fortunate with some of my input on my timing. And we're trying to set up a combo or a skill here next. We are taking a little bit of some damage, but we should be able to sustain. We're going to boost an ability here, and we're going to go with the sun. The ball of sun here, we could charge for a power-up attack. And we managed to get a KO on one of our foes. Let's see if we can pick up with the next character here. This is going to be 4 that we're up against. Maybe we could boost our attack and go for a phase shift. And we time an attack here for a good 80 damage. We managed to actually get past this encounter. 2 says, you got lucky. Next time we will win. Huff, huff. Win and celebrate too. And like that, they retreat, having their morale really diminished. Garl says, and don't come back. He's our cook. He's a chef at that. And if it wasn't for him on our team, we wouldn't have some of the recipes we have. He's really a good morale support for us on the team. And Valere says, we're close. I can feel it. We're searching for answers. And Zale says, let's do this. And we're going to begin our adventure to get these answers. And you're going to see some of these wall transitions that we got here. This is really fun. Because you're not just on like a platformer where you're going side scrolling. You really feel like you got good range of movement here, and there's a bunch of things we could do. We can even climb walls, and we can even scale really narrow ways like this on a wall. We get these really fun dynamic paths here. Oh, and our walkway just fell away from us. Good animation. Lots of eye candy in the game. And we found a pillar that we could usually interact with if it wasn't frozen. I wonder what would happen here for this solstice pillar. Oh, they managed to thaw this out. There seems to be a jewel here, some kind of a ruby. A solstice amulet. And we got a new item I've never seen before. It says so much energy. It must be endowed with an energy. And Valera says it's the same kind of power as... But Garl notices something before she can finish her sentence. How do we get out of here? This block could be melted, but the celestial rune is busted. And we just got something that could be a cloud. It says that we can now control the time of day with our right trigger and our left trigger, our ZL and ZR buttons, without needing to stand on a celestial rune. It says, whoa, so you can just do this at will now? The amulet's resonance with our magic is really strong, Valere says. We got just what we needed. Let's go back to Roshan. So Valere is kind of our Hermione Granger on the team, if you will. And we managed to redirect some of the sunlight using the power of the Solstice twins here. We can get ourselves a pathway. Well, we may have to melt another item here to get past. And we managed to do so. And we find a lever. We're going to interact with that lever. And we're going to be able to transition our light here to focus it on the ice to melt, using the reflection of the sunbeam through the crystals. And we even have a save file, a nice way to save the game and overwrite data if we need to. We have a pit here where we could recover and we could take a rest and actually interact with some of our characters in the campfire. You usually can, but at this location, it is not an option. So we'll move on from that from now for currently. The purposes of what we need to do is to redirect this light and just before dawnbreak we get the light to be where we need it to be. And we can redirect the light where we need to. And we're going to try to push this block of ice a bit closer. And see if we can melt it. What's inside? Oh, we get a chest. Let's check out. What do you think is inside? We found a sapphire ore. These could be used for upgrades. A really essential item for us. We're going to try to move beyond this. And we do see we have some obstacles in our way currently. We're going to need to push. And we're going to change the direction of the light once more. We're going to get this pillar of light where we need it to be. Oh, good transition. Wasn't expecting that. We can go across here with a fork in the road, so to speak, and we also have a bridge. I'm a little bit curious to see what's on this side of things. Let's see if we can make our way to a cave here, maybe. And we do find one of these chests that before I was wondering how we would have gotten to it. What do we find? A rainbow conch. And this could be traded for valuable items in game. We may have an encounter in front of us. And we're going to use our repel, our grapple here, with our hook shot. And we're going to go across this. A little bit of a balancing act here, rope walking. And we have an encounter. So certain characters have certain abilities, and some of the skills that we have are going to be designated by these combo boxes. And if you do so, they lose their turn, they become vulnerable. And we can block some of the damage to reduce some of it. We're going to get a good charge up here, hopefully. And we managed to pick up a KO. We blocked some of the damage on it this time. We wasn't as fortunate for the first couple of attacks just there a moment ago. And maybe we want to get a crescent arc going. And we picked up a KO. They dropped some loot for us. And we picked up some potatoes, which we could use for cooking later on. And just to show you some of the moon rotating. We're going to make our way back. And we find some things on a tree we can pick up here. Plenty of berries here, potentially. And we do get a campfire. Hopefully we can highlight what it's like to camp here with a quick rest. And this doesn't seem to be the place we want to stay too long and linger. Oh, we got spotted. Let's see if we can get through this combat phase. Let's first pick up some of the solstice magic that we need. Maybe we can get a power-up attack here, finish the encounter earlier, sooner than later. Oh, I didn't get the timing right on that one. This time I did. We got a notification with a sound. And we might want to go into disorientate. Perhaps we could use a boosted combo next. And we're going to go with the Solstice Strike. Yeah, some built-in resistances. We also have a lunar shield. And this prevents any damage for one turn to any of our allies. And we managed to block that and take no damage. We're going to go with Venom Fury. And we can keep going if we input the timing of this for each of the throws. We could manage to get off one more Solstice Strike. And we got one of our adversaries knocked out of the encounter. We managed to good counter that ability right there in a good way. got a good counter. And we're going to try to finish them off here. We were successful. And we got some things we can cook with. This is where we're going to take the ladder down. And we do get a save file here, so we could always save between our games. Some berries we'll leave behind just for now. And we're going to make our way back. We're going to teleport back to the archives. And with a brief intermission here. Reshan, you have returned. Sarai says, will you help us get to Mesa Island now? Reshan repeats, oh, you were just there a few moments ago. But did we even know? Valeria says, is this the way then? We just got back and hiked down the mountain. Hiking Glacial Peak on foot? Only an animal would do that. Will you accept one final challenge? If you succeed, I promise I will help. Zale says, we're in a hurry. You said. And Vishan, others, I know. Hear me out. The only way to remove the barrier is to wake the giant stonehead. I can make the potion for you, but brewing it requires centuries of maceration. Centuries? That's useless. That's why I need you to recover my personal alchemy bottle, the Vial of Time, Vishan says. Within it, he can control time itself. And if we bring it back to him, he'll prepare what we need in mere seconds. Garl says, no way. Valeria agrees, all right. Where can we find it? In Afaru, hid somewhere on Watcher Island a long time ago. All I know for certain is that the giant statue from which the island got its name is the key. Sarai says, this is ridiculous. Shan says, call it what you will, but I recommend you take this task seriously, for it will be very trying. Sarai says, sure, whatever, we're ready. And Rushan and others then go to the northern part of Watcher Island and perform the cleansing of Torment Peak. Cleansing? There's a dweller here? Of course. It may be just a prank, but after all, played it himself. That's impossible. If such a threat existed, the Solstice Warriors would know. Let it come as a surprise if you must. Then, but not all who came before you were brave. Some chose to bury what they had lacked the courage to face. But without their power augmented by... Yes, Vishen says. That's what the Solstice Amulet is really for, isn't it? Valere says. And Vishen says, precisely. It may be old, but its magic has yet to fade. Face the Dweller of Torment with conviction, and the amulet will resonate. Sarai says, the power to conquer an eclipse? To conjure an eclipse. This portal will take you to Lake Dokaraya. I'll be watching. Good luck. So we're trying to wield the power of the solstice, and we are possibly going to be able to harness some of this energy We have a task before us. We have an adventure. It's been a lot of fun playing this game so far. I really like the story. It's in depth. There's a lot of dynamicism in the game. It's very dynamic in the sense that the dynamicism in the game is not just how you transverse, but how you interact in combats. Your turn-based style is really thinking outside the box. What Sabotage Studios have done with this game, the animations, the surprises, that could be lurking over any turn and corner. The animations are phenomenal. I really love this artwork, the pixelated artwork. We've come a long way since a colorless Game Boy Advance, and just these pixelated games, these 16-bit classics, are just getting better and better. I recommend to some of you out there, stay tuned in the future for additional videos. We'll follow up again with Sea of Stars. I look forward to your comments or any suggestions on the video. I appreciate everybody who watches and tunes into the channel. I hope to see you in the near future, maybe in the Sea of Stars. Until then, everybody, thanks for watching.